Hey everybody, it's Safi and Marco Dish Out on Movies, the only movie review show on YouTube to review movies in terms of food. It's just Marco here once again. I am here to do a little pop-up review of a movie that I've been wanting to watch for a while. I mean a while. I told you guys, I can't remember when it was. Let me check the title of the video so that I can recommend it to you guys in case I can't remember what it's called, because it was like a random pop-up video. It was called An Actor's Recipe Triggered a Past Life Memory. It came out in August, I believe. And in that video, I discussed a dream that was basically a past life memory of my past life as Jay Sebring. And I discussed with you guys getting some sort of a promo card or something, some sort of like a mini poster, or it really looked like a lobby card for a movie that, I couldn't really remember the title exactly right, but I kind of remembered a scrambling of the title. And I ended up finding that it could have been one of two movies. It could have been Eyes Without a Face, or it could have been some other movie with Christopher Lee and Peter Cushing. And I thought that Eyes Without a Face was the one, because what really struck me was the picture and the overall imagery of the person in the mask in the movie. So I'm going to be reviewing the movie and talking about sort of what it triggered and all the things surrounding it. So first, for a review, because I know that that's what a lot of people clicked on this video for, I will also say we are one subscriber away from 400 subscribers. And that is really, really cool. It's so funny that, even though I've had this anxiety problem for a couple of months now, even though I've had that, I've walked, more miles on average than any other month since April of 2021. And we've gotten to almost 400. I mean, that's pretty hilarious. Wouldn't you guys say? It just shows, it just shows that, anxiety is really, it's a process, and you have to go through it and everything, and, it's all, almost 400. I can't believe it. So thank you, everyone, for subscribing, and then thank you if you're thinking about subscribing, because if you do, I can finally do a video that I promised people that I would do. I actually did a poll, and everybody voted for the Saw Chicks ranked. And I am in the process of ranking them. I already have all of them up here. And then in close second place, though, was the Saw Traps ranked. And I thought, you know what, it's probably for the best, because I feel like a lot of people have already done Saw Trap ranking videos, and I don't really know how much better mine would have been. I'll just say that, my favorite trap is definitely the merry-go-round from the sixth one. And then my least favorite trap would probably be any of the ones from Spiral or Jigsaw. Probably, any of those. Just take your pick. I'm not super, hardcore, obsessed over ranking those traps. You know what I mean? They don't really... Some of them are cool. When they're cool, they stand out, and it's oh, yeah. But in general, eh. So, Eyes Without a Face. This is a French movie. I watched the English dubbing. Sorry. And I really liked it. It was very, very good. It was unexpectedly good. It was really simplistic. It was really, really creepy and gross. It it really made me feel sick. Like, I had a sick feeling watching this movie. And I really miss when horror movies gave me a stomach ache. Because to me, that's the sign of a good horror movie. You know, with the movie that I'm making, I did things like on purpose to give myself a stomach ache while filming the movie. Because I wanted to evoke that feeling that I would hope that people watching it would get a stomach ache as well. Because when you get a stomach ache watching a horror movie, that shows that it's top tier. That shows that it is really, really actually horrifying because it grosses you out. It makes you uncomfortable. That's what horror is. Horror isn't Blumhouse, Halloween, Scream, Requel bullshit. Horror is about uncomfortable stuff. Uncomfortable people, uncomfortable situations. It's not about, oh, look, it's a group of Gen Z people, and they just, oh, look, it's the Core 4 and Scream 6. Ooh, it's the trendy people like Jenna Overrated Ortega. Ooh, that's not what horror is. Horror is this movie, Eyes Without a Face. I really think this is one of the best horror movies I've ever seen. And, you have, for 1960, you have Peeping Tom, you have Psycho, you have this movie. Those are three perfect horror movies. 1960 was a great year for horror, because you had three movies, 2 out of the 3 of them give me a really bad stomach ache. Like this movie, oh. It was so gross that, I was squirming, guys. The Saw movies, they don't gross me out at all, but this movie, I was really, really just so, uncomfortable. It's all about this doctor. His daughter gets in a car accident, and he wants to fix her face. So, because he got her in the car accident, by the way, and, so he is having his assistant lure girls to the house, and then he uses them to transplant their faces onto his daughters in hopes that it will make her look normal again. And at first I thought this movie was a little slow because, 20 minutes in, that's you have to wait 20 minutes for kind of something interesting to happen, but and it was really tough too because the music for this movie was not so good. There was a really weird French music in this movie, weirdo foreign music, and I'm saying that in all seriousness, a lot of foreign movies, they have weird music sometimes, experimental kind of unconventional music, and this had some really weird it's really weird music, really, really bad music. And it kind of took me out of the movie because I felt this isn't horror movie music at all. This is not good, bro. You needed to, do what Psycho did, because that's how you do horror movie music for sure. But then the plot happens, and there's a really, really, I'd say probably one of the best moments in horror history where we see the daughter with her newest face, and it's so unsettling and kind of sad in a way, because you see her transformation from looking kind of normal to looking really gross again, because her face transplant, it got infected, and so he's going to have to take it off, kill another woman, and and she said he's going to do this over and over and over and over again, and so it's just sickening. It is just so sickening. And then he's also experimenting on innocent dogs And you know, that's also really, really sickening and uncomfortable. And it just really, really like, ugh. Because it felt real. It felt like something that was really happening. It didn't just feel like a movie. Like, you know, other modern horror movies. Like, let's see. Let's find one on the... Yeah. I can't find one. Well, Children of the Corn, Runaway, or Genesis, you know, one of those where that just feels like it's a movie, and they sucked out all the color, too. And, you know, the funny thing is that even though this movie's in black and white, it's still more beautiful than the ugly-ass movies that are coming out nowadays where they suck out all the color and to where it's almost black and white. Isn't that hilarious, guys? Like, that's pretty bad. That's pretty embarrassing, honestly. I would say, too, that I will say I didn't like how the dad looked. I thought he kind of looked like a little cartoony. I kind of wish that he looked a little more like all the other characters in the movie looked perfect. Like the daughter in this movie, she was fantastic as this character. The assistant, you know, all of the side characters, the women who get murdered and get used up at the house, perfect. But the dad, he kind of looked like a cartoon. And yeah, but he was very evil, and he was good at being this really like kind of tragic villain. So I loved it. I think this is one of the best horror movies ever. It is so far the best horror movie I've seen all year. It's better than The Menu. It's better than Dolls. It's better than Saw X. So there you go. In terms of food, I would say that this movie is like a very nice light dinner, which would be like a chicken breast with crispy skin baked in the oven with mashed potatoes and gravy and canned corn. You know, that's kind of like a light, nice dinner to have. You know, maybe even meatloaf. You know, meatloaf is heavy, but this movie deserves it. It's that good. It's a great movie. Now, for the rest of the video, unfortunately, this movie did not trigger any, like, it might have... There was one, like, weird part of my dream that was, like, a lot more real than the other parts of the dream, but I'm really not sure if it was some sort of memory or just some sort of BS that, whatever. So I can't really say that the movie triggered anything. It has turned out to be like where if I seek out a specific movie like this one, Easy Rider, Ocean's 11, then it's not going to trigger anything. It has to be like I accidentally find it, like an intuitive thing where it's like I scroll through a list of movies and then, oh, that one. Watch that one. You know what I mean? And this wasn't that. And it's unfortunate too because I saw it in that memory, and so I don't understand why like certain movies aren't triggering any memories consciously at least. However, there is something to talk about. Now, you guys know that in my movie, or I'm not sure if you do. Well, okay, so for my movie, it involves clones. It involves a doppelganger, like in Dead Ringers, which was, you know, the main inspiration for coming up with the film. And my original idea was that one of the clones, not one of the clones, but the clone, he would look like a human, but there would just be something like slightly off about him that made him look really, really weird and creepy. But I couldn't really figure out how to do that. And, I still might try to figure something out, but I'm not sure, like, how. Because they did it in this movie. Like, the girl, she looks very creepy. Like, she's a very beautiful French girl, but she looks very creepy at certain points in the movie. And what she did is she put on this mask. And I figured out that the whole reason that because what happened was the first shooting day for the character, what I did was I shot this dream sequence in the movie, and it's so there's no spoilers. And I thought about, how am I going to make this character unique and stand out against the main character without it seeming like, oh, it's him and him, because that's not what I wanted it to be. And then I remembered this mask that I used in high school for a silent film that I did. It was a shitty film. It was really bad. It was just a big mess. But it was a good learning experience, which, a lot of these fraudulent actors, they don't like that you get learning experiences. They want everything to be perfect right off the bat. They don't like people learning and people, getting better. They just want everything to be good already, because that's how movies are made, right? Yeah, I know. So this mask, I thought it would be perfect to use for this character. It's just like a generic blank mask. I put some stuff on it to make it look different, and then later on I actually changed it almost completely. So I use this mask, and the mask, the character, he will be wearing the mask for the majority of the film. And it's funny, because I wondered to myself, why did I really want this character to wear a mask? Well, after watching this movie, it's very, very clear. I never saw this movie before. I might have seen like a picture here and there, but I never saw this movie until yesterday. And it's very clear to me, though, that in my past life, I must have seen this movie. And it was the inspiration for the character wearing the mask in this movie on accident. It was like remembering that subconsciously from my past life and putting that into this character, into this movie. And so the whole inspiration for that character wearing that mask is an accidental, like, I don't know how to describe it, you know what I mean? And so that's what I thought was really cool. Because, it is very, very similar. You look at the masks, and you look at the movie, and it's like, oh wow, it's like Eyes Without a Face Part 2. Honestly. So I thought that was very interesting. There's some other things too, I guess, that you could say. Similarities. Like, there's other things like, I don't want to discuss it right now because I'll just save it for those movie reviews, I guess. Because I bet there's a lot of stuff that I'm not even aware of in the script, that I just... Because when you write or when you make things, you kind of like subconsciously pull and reference from things you've already seen. Like, you think about what made this scene in this movie work. I don't want to copy the scene, but I want to take, like, the elements of, like, what worked and try to replicate that in my thing. And, sometimes it's really subconscious because, I've seen, like, a lot of movies. And so sometimes stuff just happens. It's just there. And it's like, I don't know how that got there. It's like, I didn't put it there on purpose. Like, I'm trying to write a good story and a good film, and just stuff, it comes and it's there. But it's in a natural way. It's not like a forced way. And so that would be, the main thing that I pulled from this movie, and there was another thing too, was that, originally in my movie, I really wanted to have, like, dogs in cages. Like a bunch of, like, puppies in cages at the villain's house. And I couldn't figure out a way to do that. And I just thought, nah, I'll just take that out of the script. But I really wanted that. And the image that I pictured was very much the image in this movie. It was very similar. It was like 70% similar to the one where you see all these dogs in these cages in this big house. And so that would be the other thing. So again, and then there would also be another, there would be another similarity, but I can't talk about it yet because it's a spoiler. I just remembered. Let's just say that if you take a wild leap, you'll guess what it is. So just take a leap into your imagination and then think about it. So please like this video, comment, and tell me what you thought about the movie. I personally think that I wish that movies nowadays, horror movies, would give you a stomachache. I really do. Because I'm sick of these bad horror movies that come out now. And, they call them horror movies, but they're really not horror movies at all. They don't have any business being called horror movies. Because they're trash. And then please subscribe so that we can get to that 400 goal. And I can rank the Saw ladies. Because it's going to be so fun. It's going to be epic, guys. I'm going to put a lot of effort into that video. Because I love doing that type of thing too. I mean, those are probably some of my favorite videos to do. Because they're just so fun, and I'm not really taking it that seriously. I'm just having fun. So anyways, goodbye everybody. See you soon.